Assalamu alaikum, how's it going, and welcome to a new episode of Fullmetal Alchemy. So just like always, I'm going to start with a quick self-PR segment to talk about the site, where I'm doing some translations of live streams most notably game live streams, and most notably Heaven Burns Red and Super Robot Wars, which are two of my favorite series. So you should check it out, and if you can support me, and if you want to help me out, to do more of these videos and more of these articles, you can check out my Ko-fi, where I have some exclusive content for subscribers. So I have two tiers, $5 a month and $10 a month. So yeah, like I say, I'm trying to do an independent media covering anime, games, manga, and otaku culture with a focus on translating live streams. So as always, if you can like and subscribe as well, this is free and this will help me out with the algorithm and stuff. So yeah. So the first thing I wanted to talk about this week, well, I'm trying to do these weekly, but like it's been 2 weeks since the last episode. But anyway, one thing I wanted to talk about is Fan is an illustrator in Taiwan, is quite famous, like they are quite famous. Like if you know the Bakemonogatari by Shaft, Nishio Isin, the original Bakemonogatari and Monogatari series light novel by Nishio Ishin, it's illustrated by Fan. So they are the illustrator of this series for decades now, and they also regularly do other works on other things like commemoration, like illustrations. Like, you know, when some gacha games, sometimes when some soshage, sometimes they do some commemoration illustrations for the anniversaries or for an event, etc. And they recruit various artists to make some official fan art. Like, Wofan is one of the artists you often see on these as well. And like, in order to do these videos and in order to keep following news, I still use Twitter, right? Because all the artists, all the developers, all the seiyus, the Japanese voice actors, actresses, Japanese developers, like doujin games developers, like Japanese indie games developers, etc. Like everyone is still using Twitter, like sadly, and for better or worse, like everyone is still using Twitter. So I still use Twitter myself, and I have lists where I have like artists are like, developers are like, seiyu are like the anime directors, anime animators, etc. Tons of people on lists, and I try to check like from time to time to keep track on news, on Japanese news and otaku culture news, because inshallah, if I've managed to find another new like stable position in games media or something, like I'll still have the habit of checking news to write about them. But anyway, so yeah, Wofan is one of the many person on my Twitter list, right? So back in October, I saw they did these tweets saying that they illustrated the key visual for Lightwitch, which is a new indie game studio. And so this is like the mascot of the studio, and they introduced themselves saying like, they are Lightwitch, a studio, an indie game studio focusing on crafting experiences that resonate beyond the frontier. We'll be revealing a debut game next week. So this happened back in October, and then they revealed the trailer for their first game, which is called This at the End of a Life. So we can watch the trailer, and there's a trailer in Japanese and in English. So I'm gonna show you the trailer with the Japanese dub. 新作 RPG, so yeah, it's a new RPG that an indie studio is making. And this is one of the things I want to talk about because it looks really pretty and really nice. And this is indie and everything, so it's indie and everything, so you won't see many people talking about it, so I definitely wanted to put it on the spotlight. So yeah, it's a RPG based on Alice in Wonderland, right? Which is like, to be honest, like, obviously there's already tons of adaptations and tons of stuff inspired from Alice in Wonderland, but because it looks interesting, so like it piqued my interest. The girls are pretty cute and the art is nice, and Wofan did the key visual, so yeah. So it's an RPG, side-scrolling RPG. Side-scrolling RPG. So the Alice in the game, it looks really cute, right? So, and the characters look pretty cute, right? So this is what piqued my interest. And it's 2D side scrolling as well, so it looks pretty cool. And the Japanese name is Jinsei no Owari no Alice. And in English, it's Alice at the end of her life, which is, yeah, exactly the same thing. So, yeah, some kind of side-scrolling RPG about an Alice who's about to die or who already died, something. And this is like the Queen of Hearts, right? Because she has a crown. So, like, I'm pretty... like, there's no release estimate yet, so we don't know when this is going to release, but like I checked the Twitter for the studio and they revealed a few more details on Twitter. So the first thing is this is their debut game, this is the first game. However, they also said a few days ago that this is the anniversary of the studio, and one of the people working on the game said like it's been like a really good experience so far working on the game. Like I've been working with this team for only a few months and it has been a wonderful experience. I hope you can create more memories and games together. So yeah, like even if this was announced just now, it looks like they've been working on the game for at least a year, but obviously because this is indie, like you shouldn't expect like there's no release date estimate yet, so you shouldn't expect the game to release anytime soon. But like I'm pretty excited for this. And they also did another tweet, which is the inspirations behind the game. Some of the inspirations behind the game. So you can check it out as well. So this Odin Sphere, like I actually never played Odin Sphere myself, but yeah, this is a side-scrolling RPG. So Odin Sphere and the other Vanillaware games like Muramasa, Odin Sphere, Princess Crown. Princess Crown is technically Atlas, but it was a game the people at Vanillaware did before they left Atlas to make Vanillaware, right? So Princess Crown, Dragon's Crown, Odin Sphere, Muramasa, and Grim Grimoire, and 13 Sentinel as well. And yeah, it's like if you want to make a side-scroll RPG on 2D, this is definitely one of the best inspirations you can take, right? And then you have Fata Morgana, which is a pretty famous visual novel, but I actually never played it myself, so I don't really know much about it. I don't really know much about all these. This is one of the Alice game adaptations, so like from the mid-2000s, right? I never played it, but I heard good things about it. It was like the gory Alice game adaptations in the 2000s, right? And are you Alice? I don't know this game. It was on PSP. I don't know this game. I don't know this. I don't know this. This is like what was their name? The studio Kuroppo, I forgot the name. Like this, I forget the name of this, but like this is another famous visual novel, right? I forgot his name. Paper Mario. I actually never played the Paper Mario series either. Mario RPG in Japanese, I think, right? Like this is in Japanese. I feel like this is like the same series as all the Mario RPG games, right? Because in Japanese, they just called it Mario RPG, and it's in English, it's called Paper Mario. But like I played the original Mario RPG by Squaresoft on Super Nintendo, and then I played some of the Mario and Luigi game on GBA, but I never played any of the Paper Mario games. So and then you have Princess Principal, pretty like no, this is Flip Frappers. Like I never watched this anime, so I don't know much about it either. This Puera Magi Mahou Shoujo Madoka Magica, which is a very famous anime. I like it personally, but like it's not like one of my favorite things ever. Like it's one of the most favorites anime, like one of the most famous anime of all time. So obviously it left a big impression on a lot of people. I remember liking it a lot, and I think it's one of the best one-core anime because I'm an anime boomer, so I'm the type of person who thinks like if your anime is only one core, like it's most of the time it's just an ad for the original manga, original novel, which is, to be fair, it's the case for nearly all anime, you can say this, but like it's even more so since the 2010s when one core started becoming the norm. But even so, I think it's a really good anime for one core. But I never watched the movies, and I'm not sure if I will ever watch the movies because I feel like the original TV series was fine in itself and didn't really need sequels. So I'm not sure if I'm ever going to watch the movies. And Persona 3, I think I actually never played it myself, but like I know a lot about it since it's like a pretty classic game as well. And Girls Like Tour, I never read this, I never watched this, but I heard good things about it as well. Tide of Flight, I never played it, but it's another RPG, right? Like it released like 6 or 5 years ago or something, like a few years ago. 6 or 7 years ago. Like I didn't play it, but I heard good things about it as well. And Kikonia, I actually never played it yet either. Obviously, like already say this in multiple videos, in multiple articles. I really like the work of Seventh expansion, but for many reasons, like mainly just time. Like I don't have the time. I still haven't played Kikonia, but I really want to play it one day. So yeah, and then the books by Lewis Carroll, the original artists and stuff. So yeah, and just some of the inspirations. So yeah, like this definitely one of the games, one of the indie games I'm looking forward to the most now. And like I hope, like I'm not in a hurry. Like I hope they take all the time they need and like don't like suddenly like a lot of you have a lot of stories of developers who like end up getting like too into their game, especially when it comes to indie and like people making sacrifices to do their game, etc. Like I just hope they take the time they need and don't rush things and like and everything works out well. So yeah, this is one of the games I want to talk about. So this is pretty much the only gameplay we've seen here for now, like side-scrolling RPG. But like this looks very nice. Obviously, it's still work in development, right? But it still already looks very cute. Like the Alice character is really cute, and she's using some kind of phantom spirit or something. So yeah, like I'm really looking forward to this and how it will go. So I quickly mentioned Madoka Magica earlier, right? Puera Magi Mahou Shoujo Madoka Magica. And the series, the original TV series, I think it's like for its 15th anniversary, like it's been 15 years now. It's being re-aired on TV, on Japanese TV these days, and they're re-airing it like weekly every week. And the original TV series, if you watched it, it had some end cards. This is something end cards at the end of an anime episode. You have end cards which with a specific illustration with a specific illustrator they hired for specifically for the series. It's not someone who is working on the series, like it's someone else. This is something that TV anime series started doing in the late 2000s. It became a regular thing with many series, and the original Madoka Magica TV series had this as well. And it had some. I remember I really liked the one by I forgot the name. The illustrator of Denpa Onna to Seishun Otoko, like Hima. I forgot the name, but they did a really cute end card illustration. But anyway, for the re-air of the TV series, they decided to do some brand new end cards instead of using the same ones from 10 years ago. They decided to do some brand new end cards, and for episode 6, most notably, they actually asked Yuki Aoi to do one of the illustrations. So Yuki Aoi, of course, obviously is like the voice of Madoka, so of the protagonist. So this is very funny. I've been watching for anime for like over 20 years, and like I've seen end cards and stuff, but I think it's the first time I did an on card with their own character in the series that made them most popular. So this was pretty funny and pretty interesting. So yeah, like the Mahou Shoujo Madoka Magica Waripuri no Kaiten, like the next movie in the series is coming out in Japan in February 2026, right? So like I just said, I actually never watched the Madoka movies, so maybe once these get released, maybe I will watch them to watch this. Like, I don't know, like, obviously I will have to wait until the disc release because I'm not in Japan, so I won't be able to see it in theaters. But like, I don't want to I don't want to talk too badly about the movies because I didn't even see them. But like the first two movies were like cash grabs anyway, like the usual like recap movies a lot of anime do. So I never watched them. And then the third one was a real sequel. But like I say, like I didn't particularly think that the series needed a sequel, so I never watched the movies. So I don't know how I feel about this for now. Like it's been 10 years that I'm good. Like I don't need to see Like if I watch them, I will probably act as if it's not canon. Like in my head, won't be canon. Like I will watch them, like, but I won't consider it like this to be like the real sequel. Like just I'll consider it to be just like some fanfics I'm watching or something. But anyways, I just wanted to quickly mention this. So I was talking about Wofan earlier, right? And speaking of Wofan, they also did this really cute illustration for Idolmaster, for one of the pop-up stores in Taipei for Idolmaster. So since Wofan is a Taiwanese artist, like they asked him to do this, and you have one of the characters from each of the brands, right, including including Tsubame, which is really good. I really like it I really hate it when they exclude Tsubame. So I really like this kind of illustrations where you have some of the characters from every Idolmaster brand, including Tsubame, and you have I forgot the name, Hiro from Gakumas, right? So this is a really cute illustration for a pop-up store, a pop-up shop that will happen in Taipei in December, from December 4th to December 16th. So I'm talking about this because the next subject I wanted to talk about is Idolmaster, and specifically Hiro's game, Gakumas, Gakuen Idolmaster, and how a few weeks ago, Gakuen Idolmaster, they added a new character who is voiced by Midorikawa Hikaru, extremely popular seiyuu Green River, because his name literally means Green River. So one of his official nicknames are always been Green River. So he's obviously Masaki in Super Botwas, OG series, and Masakishin. He's a hero in Gundam Wing. He's like tons of Zergadis in Slayers, like many iconic, very popular roles. He's voicing in Gakumasu Ryusei Joe, who is like is Sena's father, actually. And this is very interesting because this is a character that they already teased back in December 2024 when they were about to release the new Nia mod, the Next Idol audition mod. They teased this character because he was the one narrating the trailer, actually, back then, when they were about to release Nia mod, Next Idol audition. If you check out this trailer, you'll see Midorikawa, Green River, was actually the one narrating here. Obviously, this Kuroi Pro, Koyasu Takehito, is one of the famous, like, he's not really a villain, but like he's one of the antagonists who is appearing in various Idolmaster franchises and various Idolmaster games. Like he's always there, right? Kuroi Pro. And see, this is Green River's voice. This is the trailer they released back in December 2024, when they were about to release this new mod with the new series. So this is when they started adding the step 2 chapters for each of the characters, right? And in this trailer, it would explain how it works, etc. So this is really funny because back when this trailer happened, I was like, hey, because in the Idolmaster series, all the producers, and in Gakumas as well, not the producers, but the directors of the agencies, like the Namco Pro agency, the Kuroi Pro agency, they're always voiced by extremely famous veteran seiyus, right? And most notably in Gakumas, you have the director of the school, who is voiced by I forgot his name, but the seiyuu Ochi. What was his name? Who voiced Jiraiya in Naruto, who voiced the Tanjiro's master in and a lot of all the school directors, they're voiced by these popular seiyus, right? So I knew at some point that when they would add when they would add Nia, and when they would keep adding the stories, at some point I knew that they will add a character voiced by Midorikawa, so it's pretty nice that they did this. So I wanted to talk about this because it's very cool. Like, a character with just a silhouette has more charisma than nearly every single gacha character that got released this year. It's very funny. And so yeah, Gakumas recently, they also made Tsubame playable, right? So Tsubame, they made it playable, and this is like every like 4 or 5 months they add a brand new playable character. So at first you had the first one was Yume, who is Saki's little sister, and back when they added her, it was only 1 month after the game was released, and back then they said in the staff comments, they say that you shouldn't expect new characters to be released this fast because it takes a long while to make them, etc. So since then, they started adding a new character basically every 6 months, like every half a year, every half anniversary of the game, they added a new character. So after that, it was Senna, who got added for it was the half anniversary of the game, I think. They added Senna, and then for the 1 year anniversary, like 6 months ago, they added Misuzu. And now for the 1.5 anniversary, they added Tsubame now. So one thing interesting is how Tsubame is like one of the characters who was in the game since release, because even if she wasn't playable yet, just like with Sena, Misuzu, she's part of the student council of the game. So if you played the game, you would see her appear in various cutscenes and in various scenes of the storylines, because like I always say, in Gakumas, all the characters have their own storyline, right? And you have the Hatsuboshi storyline, which is in a way the main story, but there's no canon story because each character has their own specific storyline, their own specific timeline. And in these various storylines, you could see Misuzu, Sena, and Tsubame, even if they weren't playable yet, they will appear. So Tsubame is the last character who was already in the game but who wasn't playable yet. So now I'm wondering which character will become playable for the 2nd anniversary, because now that she's here, like I'm curious. I'm leaving the BGM low, by the way, because I don't want to get striked. But I'm wondering, now that she's playable, who is they are going to add next, because you also have many other characters that appear in the game, but they don't have 3D models, and they didn't appear, like they didn't have such a big role. So yeah, Tsubame is the number 2 of the school, and she's Sena's rival, and she's also the vice president of the student council, with Sena being the president. So they have a very rivalry going, but like basically that's their main goal. She just wants to beat Sena. And I haven't played the story yet, but obviously because it's just been released, she only has the step 1 storyline for now, right? And I really like her design as well. And like, you can see like various scenes of her story. And so yeah, basically she was the one character who wasn't playable yet. So now that they added them, I'm wondering who else is going to add, because give me a few seconds. So yeah, because now that Tsubame is playable, where is Tsubame? Here, now that Tsubame is playable, and Tsubame was the last character who was already in the game, who wasn't playable yet. And then when they added the Nia mod, back in December when they added the Nia mod, they also added these 4 rival characters who appear in the Nia storylines, but they don't have 3D models. So in my opinion, they won't ever become playable because they didn't bother making them 3D models. They only appear as portraits, and then you have various portraits. And these 4 girls, they're among the rivals in the Nia storylines, but they are not because there are 8 playable characters. Sometimes some of the rivals of the characters are other playable characters. So for example, if you play the Nia storyline of China, the rival she ends up fighting against at the end is Hiro, right? This isn't really a spoiler because he's one of the if you even start China's storyline, which I translated by the way. Since China is the sole character I translated a story for now. Inshallah, at one point I plan to translate the stories of all the characters and stream them. And like China, she's friends and rivals with Ume and with Hiro. So if you play as China, you end up fighting Hiro. For example, if you play as Saki, you end up fighting a little sister as well because the sister is a rival, right? So it's not always these 4 characters that you end up fighting in the Nia mods, but some of the characters they have these rivals. So you have Kaya Rinha. She's not a spoiler either. It's something they said right from the beginning. She's the one who was in the trio Sync Up, the trio that Misuzu and Temari was in, right? Before the beginning of the game and before the beginning of the storylines, Temari and Misuzu, they were in the same group together with Kaya, right? With Rinha, right? And these 3, they used to form a trio, and we still don't know. Like, if you play the stories, you will start to understand why they ended up breaking up, etc. So you have her, and then you have Aoi Nadeshiko. Well, then you have Shirakusa Shion, and then you have her big sister Shirakusa Gekka. And these 4 characters are the rival characters. And the thing is with Aoi Nadeshiko, if you look at her seiyuu, she's voiced by Wakai Yuki. Wakai Yuki was part of Iris. She was the voice of Leona in Puripara, and I think she was Sara in Puri-chan, and then I don't think she's in Purimaji, right? But her first big role was Leona in Puripara. And just like all the Iris members, they each voice one of the main characters in Puripara, right? So, and one funny thing is, you also have Shirakusa Gekka, and Shirakusa Gekka, she's voiced by Serizawa Yu, who is also part of Iris. And Iris initially, which was an idol seiyuu group by Avex, but sadly, the idol part and the Puripara part got really popular, but their career as seiyuu, they never really get out. So, and Serizawa Yu is the only one out of the 6 members of Iris who really got a big career as a seiyuu, and she's voicing Gekka. So, and then you have Shirakusa, her little sister, Shion, she's voiced by Tanaka Minami. And all these 3, they have popular seiyuu, because one thing interesting with Gakuen Idolmaster is that they tried to pick some newcomer seiyuu, because they did some auditions before the game got developed. They did some auditions, and all the Nagatsuki Aoi, all the seiyuu for all the characters, they're all very new. Like, they barely did any roles before. Like, this is their first big role, basically, because the game got extremely popular. This is their first big role. But like, if you look at these three rivals, they're all established seiyuu. Like, Tanaka Minami is quite popular. Wakai Yuki, like I said, sadly, I really like her seiyuu voice, but like, sadly, her career as a seiyuu didn't really get off, but like, she's like extremely popular idol. Iris is one of the most popular idol groups in Japan, so she's still very popular. And Serizawa Yu is extremely popular. She's also the Boing Boing girl in Zenless Zone Zero. She is Karen in Heaven Burns Red. She is like many different characters. She's pretty much everywhere, Serizawa Yu. And these 3, they also voice the teacher characters in Gakuen Idolmaster. So this is another reason why I don't think they will become playable, because they're popular seiyuu and because they also voice the teachers. So I opened up their Pixiv pages here to check. If you check Gekka, Serizawa Yu, she's also voicing the visual trainer, right? The visual trainer. If you look at Shion, she's also voiced, she has the same seiyuu as, I think it was the voice trainer. She has the same seiyuu as a vocal trainer, right? And then if you look at, so you have Gekka, if you look at Nadeshiko, she also has the same seiyuu as the dance trainer, right? We said visual and vocal and dance trainer, right? So all these 3 characters, they have the same seiyuu as the trainers that you see every day when you play the game inside the game. And So this is why, in my opinion, the next playable character will probably be Rinha, because she's the only one with a new seiyuu. Like if you look at her, I forgot how you read her name, but like if you look her up, she's the only one out of the four characters who has a brand new seiyuu. So because of that, and also because uh, Rinha, because of her history with Temari and Misuzu, in my opinion, even if she doesn't have a 3D model, in my opinion, she is the one who becomes the next playable character. So, like, like I said, so Gakumas, I really like it. It's a pretty good game, and like they should release the next character for the second anniversary. So we will know, like in maybe 3 or 5 months, like because Tsubame just got released, right? So they won't announce anything yet, and they say that it would take a lot of time for new characters. So basically, now we're in unknown territory because all the playable characters so far, they were all characters who already had 3D models and who already had very big roles in the storylines. But now we don't know who it is. But like, my biggest guess is the next playable character might become Rinha. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments if you're playing Gakumas yourself and if you have some theories on who the next character is going to be. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is Queen Beast, which is a visual novel which is available for free on Steam. So I wanted to talk about it because they just announced a few days ago that they made a simplified Chinese localization for the game. So like if you have some friends who don't speak English and who only speak Chinese, you should definitely recommend this game to them because like it is one of my favorite visual novels I played recently. They did a really cool illustration for the occasion with two of the characters. You have Son Goku, right? Wukong, and he is a how do you say this in English again? He's Cloud. Like really, really cute illustration. And yeah, Queen Beast, I already talked about it several times. Like if you like 80s, OVAs, 80s OVAs, like I don't know, like Gal Force, like Bubblegum Crisis, like all this kind of stuff, like you really like this game, like it's really incredible. And despite being free, like it definitely exceeded my expectations. Like I was expecting like a 2 hours, 3 hours long game, but like it's pretty long, like it's very long, like maybe 10 hours or so. Like it depends. Obviously, it's a visual novel, so it depends of your reading speed. But like it took me like maybe 10 hours or so, and like I already talked about this game several times. But like yeah, like you should definitely check it out. This game, like it's really incredible. But the only thing is you should be careful. Keep in mind, like it has some pretty scary moments. Like that's like I'm not gonna spoil, but it has some really good like psychological horror moments. So like maybe if I knew beforehand, maybe I wouldn't have played the game because it has some really scary moments. But besides that, it's just a really, really, really good game. Like if you like 80s anime OVA, if you like 90s anime, I regularly talk about Slayers in my channel, right? If you like Slayers, there's no way you won't like this game. So yeah, so check it out. So the last thing I wanted to talk about is how Fullmetal Panic Family, which is the sequel of Fullmetal Panic taking place 20 years after the end of the series, which is a series I already talked about several times. And today, on November 20th, the volume 3 of the novel is out in Japan now, and most notably, you have Tessa on the cover, right? Drawn by Shikidoji, who is like she's the main illustrator of the series for like 20 years. She's a very famous illustrator, and she's back for Family for the sequel to do the cover illustrations and the inside illustrations as well. And she did this really, really cute, really, really cool cover with Tessa. Like she's like 37, 38 or something, because it's 20 years after the original, and in the original series is like 17 or 16 or something. So she's like 37, 38 because she's not specifically 20 years after. She's like 21, 22 years after the ending. You have this illustration with Kaname and Tessa together as well, and you have a few other illustrations as well. with the characters. And in this novel, in this volume, she ends up being like, she ends up passing as Sosuke's wife for an infiltration mission. So Kaname gets jealous and stuff. So like, I really need to read this because you have the pre-publication. You have the pre-publication because the chapters, they are published in, initially it was in Dragon Magazine, and then Dragon Magazine stopped publication. So now it's on Kadokawa's online thing. They publish a pre-publication, like every 2 or 3 months is a new chapter. And then once they're done, once they have like 6 or 7 chapters, they release a new volume, right? Just like manga pre-publications, right? So even if volume 3 just got released, like we already knew for several months that Tessa came back in the series actually. And sadly, I can't find the tweet anymore, but like there's a trailer as well I wanted to show you. They did a special trailer with Yukana voicing Tessa. Yukana was voicing Sitsu in Code Geass, like a very famous seiyuu, right? So this from the original series. It's from the original series, right? And they're in the seiyuu over 20 years later. Well, she ends up seeing Sosuke and his family, and she needs to go on a mission with him, and she ends up passing as his wife, basically. And you have Sosuke's kids as well. We already talked about in a video, like it was several months ago. You have Nami, and Nami, who is the eldest, and she basically got trained by Sosuke. She's like a little version of Sosuke. Like she's like obviously she's not a child soldier like he was, but like she's extremely strong and she knows his techniques and stuff. And then you have Nami, the girl, and then you have Yasuto, the boy, who is like the youngest, and he's like a super hacker. Like he inherited like Kaname's skills when it comes to like he's basically the super smart kid stereotype, right? So yeah, they did this trailer for the volume. He ends up cross-dressing. So yeah, they end up acting. She ends up acting as Sosuke's wife, which is very funny. And there's a manga adaptation as well. And she's training with Nami at the end. And they're telling you like she still sucks at physical anything like sports except for swimming. And there's a manga adaptation of the Fullmetal Panic family light novel as well. There's a manga adaptation. So yeah, Yukana is regularly, because she's voicing Tessa, she regularly tweets about the series, etc. And one thing I wanted to talk about is like I said, we already know that Tessa would be coming back because there's a pre-publication, right? But actually, like several years ago, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 years ago, a bit before or maybe just after Fullmetal Panic family was announced, and sadly I can't find the tweet anymore, but Gato Shoji is the author of the series, right? He's also the author of Amagami Brilliant Part. He's also the author of Cupcraft. So yeah, I did a lot of series since Fullmetal Panic ended, and now he's also writing the sequel. And like it was maybe 3 or 4 years ago, a bit before Fullmetal Panic family started, he did a poll on Twitter to ask that Tessa will be coming back in the sequel, and he asked the fans, what should I do about Tessa's marital status? He said, and there were 4 choices. And sadly, I can't find the tweets anymore because it sounds like I'm making it up. Like I don't have the source anymore, so the source is stressed me, bro. But like, he said Tessa will be coming back. This is 4 years ago. He already announced that Tessa will be coming back, and he said, I need some some advice, like what do you think I should do about her marital status? So there were 4 choices. There was, I think it was one, she's married with a character we know about, like someone like I forgot his name, but I think he's not dead, right? The first guy who invented who invented the arbalest, who was a whispered. I think he passed away in the series, but there like the first choice was basically someone like him, like a whispered like her, and the second choice was she's married with someone, but we don't know who it is and we don't show who it is. And then the third choice was she's not married, and the fourth choice was we don't know and we don't talk about it. And if I remember correctly, sadly, it was the fourth choice that won, like we don't know and I won't feel nazo no mama. That was the choice. Yeah, that was the choice I remember. The fourth and last choice, it was nazo no mama, so we don't know if she's married or not. And this is the choice that won. And I remember I made a tweet back then, and I voted myself, and I said I voted for she's married, because I said like it kind of sucks, like it's kind of like I would feel bad for her if she's like over 30 and she's still adult and stuff, like. Sadly, it's Nazo no Mama. We don't know that one, because this is something I regularly talk about. You know how a lot of otaku, be it in Japan or other countries, like they have the purity problem. Like they don't want characters to have a boyfriend, to have a girlfriend, and this is something like only talk about this with male otaku, but obviously it's a thing with female otaku as well. And like people get mad when it turns out their character actually had a boyfriend or something. Like this is sadly you had a lot of a lot of, how do you say this, like a lot of controversies. Like I don't want to use the word controversy because it's so stupid, but basically this is also why, for example, you know, in Love Live they never ever show male characters, because they don't want purity male otakus to get mad that their favorite female character has interacted with a male character. So that's why in Love Live, for example, they never ever show a male character. So yeah, the Nazo no Mama, we don't know if Tessa is married or not, is what won the poll back then. So I don't know, because I haven't read this yet, obviously. I don't know if he ended up going for this or if he ended up doing something else. But this is one of the reasons why I need to read this. So I read back when the family started, I read the first chapter and then I never read it anymore. So I need to catch up and see how it goes. So yeah, I guess that's everything for this episode of Fullmetal Alchemy. Thanks for watching, and remember to like and subscribe. This is free and it helps me out with the algorithm and stuff. And let me know what you think about, if you read Fullmetal Panic Family, let me know what you think about it in the comments. Let me know. Like, Tessa was always my favorite character, so I'm really happy that she's back, obviously. But yeah, like I said, we already knew for years that she will be coming back, so like I need to catch up and read this. So yeah, remember to check out the site as well and the coffee as well. So yeah, thanks for watching, bye.